There we go. Good morning. Over to you, Beth.
Fine. Yeah, morning everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking some time out of your day. What we wanted this morning to be about really is just an open session. So I want you to feel like you can come with whatever questions that you've got. We can do question and answers, or any kind of problems that you've got, or you could share some best practice as well. Like it'd be really lovely if we're having an open discussion about an issue that you might be having, and if you know that you've been able to deal with that, or if you've got an example of something that's worked really well, it'd be really good for us to just kind of share with each other really kind of best practice and what's working well. So yeah, it's just an open session, so it's kind of over to you with any questions that you've got, and I'll see what I can answer. I know no one ever wants to go first, but if you're feeling brave, go for it.
Um, Hi Beth. I suppose social media is something that I feel that we don't tap into enough. And I think it's because, well, none of us really have the skills to do it. Looking at algorithms and all this sort of stuff. It's just not where our skills base lie. And I think that you're relatively new to this as well. Oh yeah, yeah. So I
At
suppose,
home start, yeah.
yeah, to home start, yeah. So I suppose what I'm thinking is that if you're the one with the skills, is there things that, and I know we do share Home Start UK stuff, all the time, but
Mhm.
I suppose maybe I don't know, is it a particular training session or something that I need to go on to show me how to do stuff? What's the best time to share stuff? Um, Really, we're just kind of wading through the dark, really, because we don't know what we're doing. But we try our best to get something up every day. But I don't think we're using it to the best of our ability. I think especially for the likes of recruiting volunteers and all that sort of stuff. So I suppose I'm kind of looking for a bit of guidance and or training or whatever it is that
Mhm.
you think would be best to help us do it, because I don't know what we're doing most of the time.
Okay, sure. It's a very good point, actually. That I'm
Me
sorry,
too.
I didn't introduce myself. I'm Beth. I'm digital comms manager at Homestart UK. So I look after like our website and social media. In short, that's the best way to describe what I do. So sorry, I didn't do that at the start. Yes, right. So that was quite a big question, and let me think about all the kind of bits involved with that. So. Firstly, I would say like well done for showing up every day. You don't have to be doing that if you don't want to. So that's the first thing that I always say to people is that it's more about like consistency. And so I think people think, oh, that means I have to post every day. Now, I'm here to say, like, you don't have to, okay? You don't have to post every day if you don't have the capacity to do that. But what I would say is it's about showing up consistently. So if you decide, okay, that's fine, Beth's given us the permission that we don't have to post every day, let's post 3 times, and it's always going to be a Monday morning, a Wednesday afternoon, and a Friday morning, for example. As long as you keep showing up like at those times, even if you have to schedule, and that's okay as well, um, it's more about consistency, really. That's like what your followers want to see from you, and that's what the algorithm wants from you, is just to keep showing up consistently. And like I say, that really doesn't have that doesn't mean you have to post every day. I think people can kind of get caught up on that and being like, oh, I need to post every day. I need to be seen. I need to be seen. And I totally understand where that comes from. Um, but yeah, it doesn't have to be every day. But I would just choose something where you can consistently show up with like good content. So that's another thing. It's like, is quality over quantity, is what I would say. So if you're posting every day, but you're just sort of feeling like, oh, I'm just kind of putting it out just because I feel like I've got to put something out. Is that what your audience want? Are they interacting with that? Possibly not. because like, is it engaging? What is it that you're putting out? What I would say is try to go back and see what has worked well before. So whether that's through, it depends sort of what you use. You might use Meta Business Suite and you might be able to like look at the analytics in there. What I did want to do, and this came up in one of the social media forums, is to do like a little video of kind of, because I think you can open Business Suite and be a bit like, I don't even know what this stuff means. So I'd like to do a bit of a kind of run through of what does this actually mean, when it's saying reach or impressions or insert whatever, what does it actually mean? So that is something that is going to come, I think, after the discussions that we've had. But if that's too overwhelming, just go through like what you've posted before. Just go through your own feed and just see, oh, that one didn't get any likes or any comments. Okay, fine, that's possibly not what they want. Oh, this video, oh, that performed well. What was that about? Is there anything that we can replicate from that? Because as well, another thing, I think people think they've got to like be creating new stuff all the time. It's got to be new, it's got to be new. And actually, you've got stuff that's performed well, and is it that you can change that format? So say, for example, if you've got a video that performed well and people commented on it saying, oh, these are some great tips that you've given out, say it was the summer holidays and you've given out some tips like what to do over the summer holidays or something like that. Let's use that as an example. That's a really good piece of content that you've got, that you could turn that into like some pictures or turn that just into a post. You could do it again for the next school holidays. It's about kind of thinking, okay, I've got some stuff that's like there and that has worked before. Can I just change that up and repost it, but in a different way? If it was a carousel before, can you do a video? Or if it was a carousel before, can you do just a post with one picture? And when I'm talking about a carousel, I just mean, when it's more than one picture and you kind of scroll across and see the pictures. That's what I mean by a carousel. What else were you saying?
Beth, you had said trying to be consistent and working out when you're going to post, but how do you know when's best to post? You're supposed to try and look for patterns and know when your viewers are following you. How do you even do that to identify that?
Yeah, good question. So it will be in your analytics. If you were to look on Meta Business Suite, it'd be in there of kind of your best engagement time. But what I would say is that personally, I sort of feel like the best time to post isn't so much of a thing anymore. If you imagine like pretty much everyone's got a smartphone and you can be on that at any time of day. It's like at one point it was very much like post at 7 a.m. every day, and now it's kind of like, okay, you could post at 7 a.m. but then someone might see it at 3 p.m. they might see it at 7 p.m. It's not so much of a thing to get kind of caught up with. What I would say though is that if you choose a time, whenever you pick, so say for example Wednesday at 2 p.m, that will automatically become your best time to post because you're always posting at 2 p.m. every Wednesday, if that makes sense. So it's like when I look at our analytics on Homestart UK, it's like just our best time to post just is when we are posting, because that's when we're like consistently posting. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if that's making sense when I'm saying it out loud, but I think, yeah, it's not as much of a thing anymore to kind of be kind of caught up in, oh, I need to post at this time. So I would say just go with something that can work for you and then consistently turn up at those times, keep posting at those times, and then that will become naturally like your best time to post. And you might start to see patterns as well. Like I would give it a try. So say like the example of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, try a morning, try an afternoon, try an evening, and then keep showing up at that for kind of, I don't know, try it for 6 weeks, say, and just have a look and just see, oh, actually, when I post in the morning, that is better. So I'm going to change it to morning, evening, say, keep your evening if that did well as well. Like maybe maybe the afternoon didn't really suit. You know, it's quite like a test and learn process with social media, and it can be frustrating because then that obviously means like you're having to look it up and like test it and try different things. But it is the only way that you're gonna really know is to actually be posting and trying it. But yeah, I would say try to be consistent with the same time, and then just see if kind of is there a pattern? Is it better actually in the morning? And you could change your 3 days to be in the morning. Does that make sense?
I think one of the things that we all are going to struggle with is the time. It's always comes down to the time to actually do it. You know, it's great that you should post, but do you then interact with posts? Do you have the time to do that? How do you do, you know, looking at the analytics and things like that? It's literally a massive time barrier. And how do you overcome that?
Yeah, do you schedule posts?
Yeah, we would schedule some, but still it's yeah, again it's the time and also the type of post. So, you know, you have so many different stakeholders you're trying to reach, and then if you're trying to reach volunteers, but you're also making it relevant for families, and then, you know, is it beneficial to share things on Facebook? Does it not? You know, I sort of spent a bit of time sharing useful things on, and I'm like, well, people can get that elsewhere, or is that good because you're signposting on? So it's just there's a lot in it, I suppose.
Yeah, what comes up most is time, and I get that. Scheduling is your friend. I think keep using that. I would try to set out time if you can of, you know, I don't know, Friday morning or whatever, just like, right, I'm gonna do half an hour and I'm gonna schedule like next week, or even if you could push into the week after to just try to be ahead. If you again get into that rhythm of doing it, it just becomes like, oh, okay, it's Friday morning. Yeah, I need to do my social. And I know other things come up and things like that, but if you can really try to kind of give it that time. What I would say for your different audiences is it's always good to mix it up what you're posting. So you know, you touched on stuff there. It's like, I don't know, every month are you going to do a volunteer post? Every month are you, well, it kind of depends. Like if you're fundraising, if you've got an event coming up, you might have to ramp up, you know, oh, we've got our summer fair or whatever it might be. So I think, I mean, again, it's time to make a plan, isn't it? Like it would be handy to have a plan to think about kind of, okay, it's February, you know, what awareness days are coming up in February? So we've got the awareness days calendar on the intranet that you can download, so you can think, right, it's Pride Month, it's Storytelling Week, I can't think of what else is coming up, it's Valentine's Day, Shrove Tuesday, all that good stuff. So having that somewhere in your mind of like, right, I know that there's a graphic on Brand Stencil for Pride Month or whatever it is. Oh no, it's not Pride Month, that's June, isn't it? Ignore me. But you know, there's graphics on Brand Stencil that you can download to go with those awareness days. So you can have those penciled in and then just think, right, okay, we haven't posted about volunteering for a while. I could do with one of those being put in. And I'm working actually at the moment with the volunteering team on having some volunteer graphics available. So I think that's another thing that's coming that will be helpful. And what I would like to do as well, and so it would be helpful actually to kind of get your gauge if this is something that'd be of interest, is having, I'm not sure what I'd call it yet, but some sort of social media guide of kind of, I guess, copy. Because I think people know, oh, okay, I've got that graphic, but what am I actually putting with it? You know, sometimes it's having the time to come up with the things to write. And if I could, I'm trying to be as helpful as possible, really, but if I had, you know, like a guide that had some copy examples to just kind of show, you know, oh, if, I don't know, say it's whatever awareness day, I can't think of it. Say it's Pride Month, let's just go with that one. You know, what are we, that's great, and maybe you want to do a post on Pride Month, but what are you actually saying about it? So usually when there's like a big awareness day coming up, I'll post in my social media discussion group on At Home and say, you know, it's Maternal Mental Health Awareness Week or whatever it might be, and I'll usually give you like some copy ideas so you can just copy and paste those to just help you kind of save that little bit of time. But would that be helpful, do you think, to kind of have a guide of like, here's what a volunteer post could look like and the kind of thing that you could write, something like that?
I think that would be really helpful, and I think it keeps that consistency of the message being generated, and then we can just adapt it to, you know, maybe target our own family. You know, we all have very different areas, and target groups are very different, but I think if we had some kind of generic copy paste option to then just adapt slightly, I think that would be really helpful.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you know, like Emma said, it is time, and I really do understand that. Like, it's difficult, and some people have got really small teams. Some people don't even have someone, you know, dedicated to their social media. So kind of anything that I can do to help you time-wise. But I would say keep with that schedule in. I think that's important, so that you're not thinking like, oh no, I haven't done my post this week. You know, if you can be doing that, you can do that within Meta Business Suite, so within Facebook itself. It has it on Instagram as well. But you could use a tool, and this actually came up in the social media forum.
I was gonna say what that tool that was
It's called it's called
Metricool.
Metricool.
Yeah.
So that is a tool that I can't remember the lady's name, but she was in the social media forum talking about it, and they were able to get a free account being a charity. So I don't know kind of what experience you've got of kind of scheduling tools, but it's basically where you can go on kind of you start writing your post, you can click like, oh, I want it to go on my Facebook, I want it to go on my Instagram, you type it out and then it schedules it for you. So kind of just like what you might already be doing within Facebook itself, but you can kind of have a calendar, you can see all your posts that are coming up, and it's easier to be able to like cross post. So say if you have a Facebook and an Instagram, or even a Twitter as well, or X, you'd be able to write the post, click, I want it on my Facebook and my Instagram, and you'd also be able to change it slightly. So this is something that came up again in the other social media forum, was about just trying to tailor your content a little bit. And again, I know like it's a time thing, but just thinking about your audiences. So say like on X and LinkedIn, it's just that little bit more corporate, and you might be talking directly to businesses. It might be more of a like, asking for donations for your summer fair or whatever it might be. It might be kind of more targeted like that. Whereas on Facebook, you might be saying, come to our summer fair, we'd love to see you there, all that sort of stuff. But within a scheduling platform, you'd be able to, have it so that on Facebook, I'm saying, come to our fair and attach your graphic, and then you'd be able to click on LinkedIn and just tweak that message. Oh yeah, Yvonne's put the recording actually in the chat. And if you could put the date of the next one, Yvonne, in
Yes.
the chat, that'd be fab. So just to let you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, January to March, we decided to have a social media forum. It's a drop-in quite like this, where it's different people across Homestart. And again, they're bringing their experiences, asking questions, that kind of thing. We're running it January to March, just to kind of see how it goes, because it's something new. And then maybe after March, we might continue it if people want it continued. We're going to see how it goes. But for now, so we've still got a February date and a March date. So that's on the webinars program. So Yvonne's popping some stuff in the chat if you want to join that next one. Yeah, it's just like this, like an open forum, but it was really good actually, the last one, people sharing what works for them. And that's how we found out about Metricool and being free, because that's really great. It's always good when we can get a little bit of a discount. I did want to touch on Canva as well. Does everyone know that you can have a free Canva account being a charity?
I think Canva's free in general, but the pro version is
Yeah,
free
sorry.
if you're a charity.
Yes. Yeah, it just means that you get access to, just means, when you are on the free account, it kind of looks like, oh, this stuff I can't use because it's got the little crown next to it for the pro account. So yeah, thanks Yvonne for clarifying. Yeah, it'd be that you can get a free pro account. But I saw some nods and some people in the chat, so I think you know about that, which is good.
Can I ask a wee question? I'm sorry, my camera, I've managed to do something that's external to the thing, and
Okay.
I don't know what I've done. I think I dropped it or something. I just want to know, in terms of your talk, even you mentioned LinkedIn there, and I don't use LinkedIn at all. And I just know that that's an opportunity we're missing out, maybe particularly on recruiting for trustees. And we don't use Threads or anything. I'm only beginning to start on Instagram, and just time and knowledge. What are the things that you think, especially the emerging things, should we be looking at? I'm concerned that Facebook is dying out, and that's where I get the majority of my volunteers from. That's where I make the majority of my contact. And I know that that is like myself, an aging population, not to offend any of us, but I know
okay,
that our
don't worry.
mummies, a lot of our mummies we're talking to they're on Instagram. That's where they're kind of, and I'm just wanting to follow what are the trends, Threads I have no clue about. Should we be looking into these things? I am worried, I suppose, that all of my energy goes into Facebook, and am I going to kind of find that that's just becoming less and less useful to me? And LinkedIn, what I would really need is somebody to send me a video of, this is how you use LinkedIn, this is what you need to do. I need, like, do you know the dummies? I need everything for dummies, those books. I need videos. So LinkedIn for charities for dummies is what I need. Really simple, really clear, because I go on and look and I think, so I have a profile, but I have no idea what to do with it, and then I hear people saying, oh, you have to be on it, and I think, I haven't got time.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. People being like, I don't know what to do with LinkedIn. It's not my favorite of the social media channels. I don't know. I think I've got this idea in my head that it's really corporate. But I do think it is actually changing, and that's been quite refreshing to see that it's becoming, I mean, not as sort of casual as Facebook, but I would say people are sharing a bit more about their life, but it feels like it's still that angle of the corporate world, I suppose. So for example, like people announcing that they've had a child, but then they're talking more about kind of going back to work and the challenges of that kind of thing. So we're seeing a bit more sort of personal stuff. What I would say about LinkedIn is that what works really well is having your own account, and you sort of being, this sounds intimidating, I think, but almost being like the face of your home start. And I know that probably sounds intimidating saying it in that way, but I mean, people buy people, and people want to see you as someone who works within that home start, and kind of, what are you up to, and are you giving like a personal take on it? So for example, say you had like a summer fair, I keep using that, I think it's because it's sunny, and you can post, oh, it was really great, like, thank you to these people, and you can kind of make it quite personal of, tagging either businesses that got involved, or maybe like your contacts that got involved. And, it'd be nice to just add something personal on the end. I don't know, what can we say in this example? Just something like, it was a lovely sunny day and really nice to see everyone out and about, and like spreading the word about what we're doing. If you want to find out more, go here, and then link to your website. So yeah, I would say on things like X and LinkedIn, it's quite nice to have your own profile, but make it so that it's like associated with Home Start. So it's almost like, see that as like a networking tool. I mean, if you have got X, I would kind of have a question mark around that at the moment. A lot of people are leaving it. I don't know if you've seen a lot about that, but Mind announced yesterday that they're leaving. So quite a big charity with quite a big presence on there. Kind of The Guardian and other kind of quite big accounts have left, just because of the whole political, and also we don't need to go into that, but yeah, so I would kind of question, if you are on X, like, do we really want to be there? Are we getting engagement on there? I would possibly question that. Yeah, on LinkedIn, like I say, I would have your own profile, but have it like really clearly associated with like where you work and what you do, and be posting obviously about what you're doing, and trying to, have that networking on there, like make those connections if you are going to events, or if you make a new connection with someone in the community, like get them on LinkedIn, follow them, and be like tagging them in stuff as well, inviting them to stuff. Yeah, that can work really well as more of a kind of corporate networking angle. You might have heard about Blue Sky, which is new. It's a lot of people are leaving X and joining Blue Sky. Kind of people are saying it's like nice Twitter at the moment. It's quite similar to Threads in that way. What I would say, just to answer your question, Kelly, of kind of where should we be? I think when we're talking about we don't have a lot of time, I think it's best to like, pick two if that's all you feel like you can manage. Just pick two channels and really try to refine those, really try to like get your messages out there to the people who need to see it, rather than being like, oh, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on X, I'm on, insert them all, and you're not really being able to give the small amount of time that you've got to those channels. So I would try to focus on, say, two, and kind of grow it from there, or whatever feels comfortable for you. If you do find a scheduling platform like Metricool, like we were talking about, that would make that much easier. So when you're in your time of, right, okay, I need to just schedule some posts, I've got, even if it's 10 minutes, like I've got 10 minutes, I'll just schedule a post. You'd be able to click, like I was saying, on your different channels, and maybe you just slightly change the messaging for, say, LinkedIn, and then you'd be able to schedule. So yeah, I would kind of focus your energy and the time that you have on refining, like I say, maybe two social channels, and then see if you want to grow that. You're right about kind of mums being on Instagram. I think it's fine to be like asking people as well. When people come to groups or like new people, and you're just having a chat, and you might, get to sort of say, oh, follow us on social. Oh, what do you use? Just try to kind of get that like anecdotal information. Like you said, Kelly, you were obviously having the conversation of the mums being on Instagram. Yeah, so I would try to kind of listen to that and try to get that from people. I feel like, Yvonne, are you coming in with something? You came off mute.
I was just gonna say, Paula, when she talked about Metricool in the social media forum, did she say, and I might not be remembering it right, but did she say that there was an AI sort of companion that would tweak your posts for different platforms?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think I believe so. We were talking about AI as well.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, so it's like, are we getting
Which part am
confused?
I remembering? Yeah.
Yes, but if it doesn't have it, because I'm trying to get us an account, I'm a bit back and forth. But if it doesn't have it, you can be using AI. Like I always, I don't know, I come to AI with like trepidation a little bit, in terms of like, please don't put any kind of financial data or anything in there. Don't ask it to like, oh, can you write me a summary of this financial report? Don't be putting financial data in. But as far as I'm concerned, it's okay. Homestart are okay for you to use AI. So you could use something like ChatGPT. That is a free account. The free account's great. I wouldn't encourage you to kind of get a premium account or pro account, whatever they call it. The free version is really great. Copilot is the Microsoft version, which should be available on your laptop if you just search, in the bottom kind of program search bar. If you search Copilot, that should come up. The thing with AI is, I suppose, the output that you're getting is only really as good as what you put in. So I'm wondering, actually, that could be another helpful thing to have in the guide about using AI to kind of help you. What I would say is the more you use it, the more it gets used to like your tone of voice and what you want to say. So I would stick to the same platform, because it does like learn, what you like, what you're saying, your tone of voice, like I say. So the kind of prompts I tend to put in are, you know, I'll say like, write 10 social media captions for this image, and you can upload an image with it, or I'll insert what it is. So I don't know, say it's International Women's Day or something like that. You can say, write 10 social media captions for International Women's Day. And then I'd add something about the tone, like aim this at mums, keep, you know, make sure that it's friendly, a friendly tone, you know, and use this call to action or something along those lines. I think if you try to give it as much detail as possible for what you're after, you know, you're going to get a better output. It's very good for rewriting stuff. So that's what I tend to use it for. So if I'm like, oh, I'm just really stuck, I just want to talk about this, I don't know, this event that we had, and this is what I've written and I'm just not feeling it, I would copy and paste that into something like ChatGPT and say, rewrite this social media caption to make it more friendly and more engaging to our audience who are mums age 30 plus, say, or something like that. So yeah, you can be using AI to just help you along. I would say, you know, just be a bit cautious of it in terms of the data that you're putting in, and I guess the output, like just reread stuff, make sure you've got it as like UK English and not US and things like that. So just double check like the spelling and stuff like that. But generally that can be a really helpful tool. You know, when we're talking about time, definitely. I'm just thinking, Kelly, did I know I've sort of gone around a little bit talking about different things. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was really helpful. But and also what you were saying there about those different questions to be asking on AI. I know, I'm sure you don't have millions of time, but even prompts like that would be really good if you are putting something together, because even some of those ones you were thinking of, I was thinking, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought of that. So having some, because obviously a lot of the schemes were going to be trying to get the same things out of the chat GTP or whatever it happens to be. I know I get kind of tongue twist with it, you know. So if we had some of those prompts that would, until we get into the way of using it, that would make us think, right, if it's about volunteers or if it's about services or funding or whatever it is, that would easily give us prompts to be thinking about. That would be, yeah. I know that I would find that really helpful.
Okay, brilliant. I've written that next to my social media guide. I wonder if I could, you know, amalgamate the two and maybe have a page about AI prompts, because yeah, like I say, it can be another thing that can feel a bit overwhelming of, oh, this sounds great, but what do I actually put into it? And it's only, again, when you're using it and kind of learning, you're both learning about each other, really. You know, the bot is learning what you want, but also you're kind of learning, oh, actually, like, what kind of output do I get? And often, you know, I'll just ask it to keep rewriting it in a different way and just see if there's bits that I can take from, you know, sometimes I might be like, oh, I like that bit, but I don't like that bit, you know, and you've kind of got to test and learn a little bit and sort of get used to it and the kind of output that you get. But it might be you copy and paste a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and kind of, you know, mash it together. But you can obviously ask it to rewrite it anyway, so that you could just copy and paste it all as one block kind of sentence. But okay, that's interesting. I can pop that in the guide as well. Any more questions or anything that haven't touched upon?
Beth, it's a very specific thing, and I may have missed this because I did see Emma had put something up. But when Sarah and Matt were over in October, we talked about the NDR statistics, you know, and the pieces of work around specific to Home Start in Northern Ireland and the schemes and how many families and volunteers and all that sort of stuff. And we talked about getting that information so that each of the local Home Starts in Northern Ireland could share all of that information sort of at the one time to kind of give like a, you know, a consensus effect that we're all doing at the one time. didn't see that, but I may have missed that. Is that what you had put up, Emma, or was that something different?
It had came through as an email, and then
Uh-huh.
I just kind of, it had been adapted. But I think even what we need, I suppose what we talked about at that meeting was having that bigger picture. So there's literally things we can lift and post. And even, I don't know, is there a way that there's a time frame of when we can post things and what's relevant, but there's a lot of, those statistics across Northern Ireland. We're trying to get that impact of Northern Ireland wide as well as the local scheme. So yeah, it's how you can help us disseminate some of that, I suppose. But if we're collating all those data and it's out there, it's really impacting for funders to say, yes, we're a smaller scheme doing the things in our area, but they need to see the bigger picture too. And that's where a lot of
See,
that discussion followed on from.
Yeah, I totally missed that, Emma. So I am thinking maybe a whole lot of us have missed that. About trying,
Right.
Sharon, I'm thinking, if somebody was saying to us, okay, this is the Home Start Northern Ireland statistics, post this on.
That's it. I think almost like a
This week.
calendar,
Yes,
and when we
yes.
are posting it, whether it's an invite to your diary, so that I don't know. I mean, I know that's a bigger thing, but it's kind of how can we have, I suppose it's that handhold, and we're all coming at it, and it's the time pressure. So anything that can alleviate that element and help us build, if you, Beth, are saying to us, right, these are the 3 best times to schedule, well then that's information we're happy to take on board. We don't need to go and do all the analytics behind it, or if there's information that Home Start UK think that NI should be sharing as a picture, well, we're probably more than happy to all buy into that as well. It's just whatever makes, because it is such it's that LinkedIn thing, getting into that. I think that's kind of where you're linking with your corporates and how you even go about doing that. That's definitely something I think the majority of us are probably not even hitting.
No.
Okay. Right, okay. So what I will do is I'll send that out again, because I've got that group email now with everyone. So
Brilliant,
I'll send that out again. But what I'll do this time is I can write a little bit of copy to go with it. I mean, as for posting kind of at the same time, I mean, if you want to do that, you can. We could just pick a random day. It's data from last year. Like obviously we have to kind of have a whole day, a whole year to kind of get it. So I would say as long as you're posting it at some point this year, then it's fine. I would say you could keep using it as well, especially if there's, I can't remember now what they are. It's something like amount of children supported, amount of families, and I can't remember what the other ones were, but say for example, if there's an awareness day that's related, so there's something like National Children's Day, something like that, you could be like, it's National Children's Day, and like a reminder, here's how many children we supported, and we'd love to support more this year. If you can get involved, and go to your website or your donate page or whatever, or even it might be that you're asking for volunteers. And the social media guide, what I'll include as well is what I've been saying, and again, sometimes I say things then I think, right, I'll rewind in case people didn't actually know what I was talking about. But a call to action is like at the end of your post that says something like, to join our amazing volunteering team, visit, and then you link to whatever page, or to donate, go here. Or if you're asking for people to come in and give donations for a raffle or something like that, your call to action would be like, please bring in your raffle prizes by, insert date, that kind of thing. It's just letting people know like there's an action here to take. And if you're linking to your website, then you're saying like, look, please keep interacting with our brand and who we are. So, you might be on Facebook, but come onto our website. We'd love you to volunteer, donate, insert whatever it might be. So calls to action are really, really important for your posts to, like I say, just keep people interacting. And you never know, when they go onto your website, you might be asking them to, become a volunteer, but actually they might go on, they might donate, they might look around, oh, they've got this group on a Tuesday. You just never know where that is going when you're sending someone to your website. So yeah, that's something that I'll note down and pop that on the social media guide as well.
I think another thing that would be useful is sort of reposting. How do you go about doing that? If you schedule a post, can you have it reposting at certain points? Is it, can you do that all in one job lot? and also how you interact with posts. I mean, we might post things, but I generally don't have time to reply to comments, things like that, and kind of encouraging people to come back to us in a different way. You know, is it better to kind of interact with comments? I don't know. That sort of advice is useful too.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it is time, but it is good to be replying to things, because there's kind of it's twofold really, is that you're having that two-way communication, which is great, you know, and they might be asking a question, and so, you know, you want to be able to respond to that. It might be like, how do I get support, or asking another question about, you know, an event that you've posted about. So to, you know, to leave that person hanging isn't great, but I do understand that it is a time thing. You know, you need to be able to have the time to respond. To make it a bit easier within Meta Business Suite, you can see like all your inbox and your comments are a tab as well at the same time. So you can kind of go through them rather than it having to be like, oh, I've had a notification, so I'm going on that one, or like scrolling on your feed and, oh, where was that message, or where was that comment? So that is probably the quickest way, I would say, to do that. In terms of sort of interacting with other people's posts, I suppose that's a nice to have, you know, if you have got time. I understand, again, it's another time thing of just having the time to kind of be like scrolling and just seeing things. But if you do have a moment, it can just really help with networking, especially, you know, if you're following pages that are posting about things that are going on in your area, or if you're following businesses that you want to like connect with, you're like, oh, I'd love them to be on board, so I'd love them to donate to us, or I'd love them to, you know, be able to give us some freebies for insert event kind of thing. It's good to be kind of following them and just commenting if you can every now and again, to just sort of, it's that like reminder that we're here thing, you know. It's that kind of like, cooey, like, remember we're over here, like, oh, and you can even comment and say like, oh, we'd love to work with you, you know, we'll drop you a message or something like that. You know, that is how a lot of networking happens online these days. So yeah, I understand though, it is a time thing, but if you have got 10 minutes to just, even if you're just sort of liking some stuff, just a quick comment, of like, even just something like, oh, this is great, or we'd love to be involved in your next event, or something like that. You know, it doesn't have to be kind of War and Peace, but just something to kind of be like, hi, we're here. Because you never know, again, you never know, they might message you and say, you know, oh, you know, we'd love to make a donation, or whatever it might be. So yeah, it is good to be interacting, but I do understand that obviously that is a time thing. But even if you can just find 5 minutes to, yeah, be commenting on other people's stuff, and just make sure that you're following people, you know, like I say, that you do kind of want to be involved with in the local area, or nationally, you know, people that you know, who are funders and things like that. Sorry, I feel like it's always like, I know you don't have time, but if you could, that would be great. Anyone else? Sorry, I'm sort of battling with the sun.
I was just going to ask, has anybody tried using volunteers to help with your social media? Sharon, I'm getting a
So that's what I'm sitting here thinking. I'm listening to all of this, and I know that my own personal social media skills are not great. And I try to post a wee bit on Facebook, but I know that I'm definitely falling short. Some of these other home starts are definitely more proficient than me, and I could probably come and torture them, and they could teach me a few things. But I'm sitting here thinking, you know, I know that I'm pretty sure that there's an NVQ level 3 digital marketing thing in maybe Belfast Met or the NRC, and I'm wondering if I really need to tap into that and say, are you training in digital marketing? Would you like to gain a little experience by volunteering, being a social media volunteer? For me, ideally, that's what I would like. I am
and I'm sure the rest would join in with me. I am definitely working at capacity, and I'm sitting here thinking, all of this is wonderful. I want to be able to do this, but I genuinely don't know how I can make it work. So,
Yeah.
I actually was sitting, I've just written that down, find a social media volunteer. So I think I might try and go that direction. And see if I can find some young person who is really proficient at it, who would like to do a wee bit of, I don't know whether
Yeah.
any other home starts have done that, but that is what,
Yeah, they
you know.
I mean, I know.
We had, oh, sorry, I interrupted somebody there.
Sorry, you're okay. All I was going to say is I know that one of the London home starts, and I can't remember who it was, but we did do a film on it, and I want to say it was Greenwich or Barnet or something. I'll ask Sally, but one of the London home starts did use a volunteer for their social media and bits and pieces. So I'll
The
pop
thing
Sally a
is, I could
message
maybe
now.
even glean. I'm sitting thinking if I had somebody doing that, I could maybe glean a wee bit of skill and knowledge from them. It's
Yeah.
not just about them. I'm even thinking if I could find somebody temporarily who
Mm.
could not who could do it, but maybe teach others as well, so they
Yeah.
could, kind of share knowledge and skill,
And
rather than
I
me
suppose as
sitting
well
here
that
feeling overwhelmed.
that would potentially open up a bit of a wider pool of volunteers for you as well. Like if somebody wants to get involved with your home start but can't necessarily commit to 2 hours a week or whatever to support with the family, or actually I'm full time, I'm working full time, I can't come along to a group to support or anything like that. But actually I've got a couple of hours in the evening that I can do a bit of social media work for you. Like obviously you'd have to find the best way to manage that, and like with the but it would, I think the half an hour that it could cost you in the evening to just do a bit of a check-in and things would save you an awful lot of time.
Thanks for me. What I've come away from today is I am now going to I'm going to try and do some specific recruitment for
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll just add another point and then we'll come back
Yeah.
to Lara. Yeah, I would say places like local colleges are a really good place to find someone, whether that's you going in or dropping an email, and just asking, like you say, anyone to help us. It's kind of sell it as it's like great experience for them to put on their CV, that kind of thing. Also, it might be worth, because I know some home starts have had them before or currently have them, but I can't think like offhand. I think when I visited one in Nottingham, they had one. But it might be a good discussion point for at home, to just ask the question. Or I could do it actually. Sorry, we're talking about time, and I'll do it for you. An at-home post just around social media volunteers, and who's got one and how did you go about it? Just be great to share some tips. I think that'd be helpful. But coming to you, Laura, were you saying that you've had one before?
But I suppose it was just answering Sharon's. Both myself and Lynn are quite new in post, as you are all aware, and we are, like everybody said, time constraints. We are juggling everything. Our social media platform is probably very minuscule at the moment because we've had lots of issues with our page being shut down and things. So we're really just starting to go, okay, this is absolutely where we need to go. Again, who's going to do it? Who's got the time? How do we monitor it? So I had reached out to some of our current volunteers with a very kind of, maybe some of your children might be interested, because I'm very aware that, if I was to ask my son, he'd be like, oh, why are you even asking this? It's so simple, blah, 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 and just do it. So we did have a couple of our home visiting volunteers that they've said that their children might be interested in, just doing a little bit, even to create 3 or 4 posts for us that we could target to see, are they successful? Are they not successful? And then we have them as a resource that we can tweak and work around. So maybe reaching out to some of your volunteers that you already have to see if any of their children would be, because I think Kelly had said as well, I'm probably not of the era. I would class myself as a social media dinosaur, and like I don't have Facebook myself at all, but the youth now are it's their only way of communication, and creating reels and posts and everything 2 seconds they have this wonderful professional. So it's worth reaching out to your existing volunteers as well to see.
I've just had another idea, and I don't know whether this would work, but I'm thinking some mums. We've had some mums that have attended our group and maybe aren't any with us anymore, but maybe I could hone in on that fact that they've been part of who we are. They know a wee bit about it, what we do. There may be a few prior mums or even present mums or dads, doesn't matter what way, you know, parents, I should say, that are social media proficient. So thank you for this. It has really made me think. So I will try that.
It's a really good idea, Laura. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Lara.
Yeah, I can add that within the discussion and see if you know, if other people have had any success with that. I can add like a little bit of copy as well, to kind of add onto an email or maybe a social media post. But yeah, it might even be worth sending out an email to your volunteers and just say, you know, we're looking for some support. You know, could you, your children or whoever, do they want to be involved? So, okay, I will do that on at home. I'll just start that discussion. We'll see if anyone else is doing it. Any top tips like Laura's just shared, and I could put some copy down just to be that little bit more helpful. We've got just 5 minutes left. Is there anything else from anyone else or any final comments? I just want to say it's been really great to have you share. So thank you for that. I always find it's really helpful for everyone, isn't it, to just share what works for you, share a bit of experience, and we can all learn from each other. And yeah, I'd love to see you at the social media forums if you can make it. They're recorded as well, so if you can't make it live, you could have it on, you know, your second screen whilst you're doing your emails or whatever, just to again listen in and see what other people are doing. Yvonne's put it in the chat of the last one. If you want to watch the replay, and the dates are in there as well. But yeah, does anyone have any last questions or comments before we close?
I know it's about time as well, but if you can join the managers forums, we don't have any dates just yet, because we've just done the last week we did January's one. So I'm just trying to work out, because Hannah's leaving, so somebody else is going to be taking over the chair for that. But if you can come along, they can be really good places to chat with other managers as well, and just sort of, because you're all doing the same thing, just in different places and similar struggles across the board. So it can be quite useful just to chat to somebody else that knows what you're trying to achieve in your local area. So
Yeah, and if you haven't been before, there's usually like breakout rooms as well, which is really helpful. So you kind of there'll be topics, you pick the one that you want to go to. I've been
you can
before to
always suggest a breakout room as well. If you want something specific, you can suggest one. It's very network led. And Homes.uk sort of only steps in if we're needed, really. So
yeah, I did a social media one,
good.
and that's kind of where the forum idea came from. So you know, it's good to just have that discussion first, see what people need, and then obviously try to make that happen. So yeah, it's always really helpful to get insight from Home Starts, you know, especially as someone new. I joined last June, and I'm still getting to grips of the different challenges that people face, because yeah, it is so different across Home Start, but we're all trying to do the same thing, aren't we? But like Yvonne said, just in different ways and in different places. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time. And we'll be in touch. I will send those NDR graphics around again with maybe some copy that you can use. I'll pop that bit on at home for the discussion as well, to just see if anyone's got any insights on social media volunteers. And I've noted some bits down for these kind of training videos. I'm not sure kind of what it will look like or when it's coming, but it's something that I'm working on. And what I would like to do is kind of do the forum series, so till March, and just get a real feel of what people want training on, and then kind of go from there. So that's something to expect in the future, but I can be working on this social media guide as well. So yeah, I hope that's been helpful.